If you're curious about riding a small dirt bike on a big off-road trip with a Pillion passenger, or the Flinders Ranges area in general, hopefully this video can provide you with some insight. The bike we have is a 2010 Yamaha XT250 Carby model running Dunlop D604 tyres, which are fairly street-oriented bits of rubber. To prep for our trip, we've changed the oil and filter, replaced the chain, fitted some lever guards, replaced the worn grips, threw together a storage tube and added a storage bag for the bars. With the basics done, it's time to load up and hit the road. After a quick stop in Apple Springs for lunch, we continued up through Hawker and drove the Moralana Scenic Drive from east to west. A short run on the blacktop gets us up to Paratilna Gorge Road where the corrugation's picked up. Our spare tyre didn't quite have the clearance required for the dry creek crossing over to our campsite, but we got there anyway. We picked up some Pillion seat padding from Bunnings before we left and set about improving the cushioning for Georgia. This is an incredible spot for free camping holidays. We added a tank bag at the last minute which holds water, food, maps and a portable charger. Our first day's riding takes us around Glass Gorge to Blinman and back via Angrotina village. Unfortunately, the handlebar mounted GoPro catches every bump, making for unsteady footage. We learnt quickly that stopping often was critical to an enjoyable ride, which we expected and weren't in a rush to get anywhere. Soft gravel presented a challenge but didn't really impact our ride much. After checking out the old copper mine, we pulled into the North Blinman Hotel for a pub pie and a drink before riding back to camp with a break for ice cream in Angrotina. The next day, and with a lower tyre pressure, we set off again. These bikes are surprisingly capable. In true camera fashion, I didn't capture just how steep this solo climb was. We did attempt this 2-up yesterday, but Georgia almost slipped off the back, so we turned around. How good is the view from up here though? The ride down is more like a slide down. Lunch and drinks in Blinman again, we went to the bakery this time. The speedo easily hit triple digits as we left Blinman, and we took a right turn which got us onto Brashina Gorge. The ride was much more comfortable with our lower tyre pressure compared to Glass Gorge, and a change of scenery too, being the only spot in the Flinders which seemed to have any water in the creeks. Out the other side, we dropped into Paratilna for the limited phone service and a rest break before the last leg back to camp. Our experiences and changes to the bike now allowed us to comfortably ride it up to 80 km an hour off-road, double what we could manage on the same roads prior to the change. Our next day's trip didn't quite go to plan as we couldn't find the track we needed, so instead we checked out Old Beltana and rode this 15km four-wheel drive only track. Overall it was a great trip. Having a more suitable bike might improve the ride, but our choices were this or nothing. We rode 320 kilometers, averaging 4.5 litres per 100. The best advice I could give from our experience is to find a tyre pressure that works for you and allow time for consistent rest stops, and maybe look into the Airhawk for something like that. Provided your bike is mechanically sound, you'll wear out before it does, with some luck. Hope you found this video helpful or entertaining. Feel free to drop any suggestions in the comments.